Hello fellow cinephiles, Cinema Guru here. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'll be reviewing Life of Chuck. This was written for the screen and directed by Mike Flanagan and was based upon a Stephen King short story. This is the third story that Flanagan's worked upon that is based upon Stephen King's material. The film stars Tom Hiddleston, Carey Gillian, Mark Hamill, Mia Sara, Chiwetel Ejiofor and a variety of others. This is really a hard film to talk about because I don't want to give anything away. I want people to go into this film sort of blind like I did. I didn't even see a trailer. There hasn't been a lot of marketing in regards to this film, and I know that it came out in America a few months ago and hasn't done real well. In part, I think it's smart to do that, so it's a surprise for people, but it's also bad in trying to get the film out there because people don't really know what they're in for. And it was a pleasant surprise. This is definitely a departure in a lot of ways for Flanagan, in that it's more of a dramatic piece. And it's a different sort of story for Stephen King as well. And Flanagan injects so much of the stuff that he does really well. Characters, story, and just sort of concepts and ideas. And he definitely delivers with this film. He really is the new Frank Darabont in a lot of ways. They've both made things that are based on Stephen King material. And they both create ensemble casts. And they use similar actors throughout the films that they do. Darabont is much more dramatic, sort of horror based, where Flanagan's more horror based, but they both are very similar in the way they approach the material, the way they write scripts and stories, and the way they sort of tackle not just movies but also TV shows, especially Darabont in the first season of Walking Dead. They just craft really interesting films, and Flanagan's definitely shining in what he's able to do. He may not be everyone's cup of tea, he may not make a lot of money in regards to the sort of films that he makes, but I really love the stories he tells and the characters he creates. And I like this film. What I can say about the movie is it's about Tom Hiddleston's character, Charles Grant, ultimately known as Chuck, and it's about it looks at his life and his experiences and what shapes him and who he becomes because of those experiences, and how he sort of navigates that and the impact that his life has on everybody else. I really love that as well. That one life represents something really big that I can't sort of get into because you need that sort of mystery in regards to the film. And it's told in a very interesting way, and I really love that. There's some great moments in the film, some dance sequences and a variety of things that really stand out, that really make for a fascinating film. And I think it's the best I've seen Tom Hiddleston in quite some time, and maybe ever. I just think he's really great in this. It's a very simple character, and he's sort of very grounded in his performance. It isn't flashy or showy, it's just sort of a good solid performance playing this character of Chuck. I have heard that this film is a bit divisive for people, and some people are probably going to love it and some probably aren't. I just really loved it. It was a simple, beautiful film, a film that we kind of need these days in a lot of ways because it was telling a simple and wonderfully beautiful story that was profound and powerful in its simplicity, and it just really encompassed so much of life and really had this discussion about what a person's life is and what it's worth and what impact that particular life has on the overall universe, and I love that. It has this sort of really fun voiceover that adds a bit of humour to it, but I think the voiceover is the idea of Stephen King's stuff to me has always felt a bit, yes it is dark at times, but there is a lot of humour in it, and he tries to lighten it with particular sort of devices that he uses in his stories and in his books. And I think that the voiceover adds so much. It really feels like what Frank Darabont used to do as well, is Flanagan takes the material and he pays tribute to it. He uses as much as he can of that particular story and the narrative, and he injects what he does well into it, but he really sticks a lot to the source material. And I think he does a really fantastic job. I think this film will really show him in a different light and show the skill of him as a filmmaker, and it'll show that this guy isn't just horror based. He is a really good storyteller at heart, with great characters and a simple story made and done effectively. Sort of third film he's done based upon Stephen King with Dr. Sleep, and as well as Gerald's Game. And Gerald's Game feels a lot similar to this film in a lot of ways, very simple, to the point, and it's about one person's journey when they face something difficult and how they navigate through that. A friend of mine really talked about how he felt that this film was Flanagan's Stand By Me, and I can sort of see that in a lot of ways. The characters that go on a journey and the experiences that they have, the things that they face, and the idea of what it is to be a kid and then go through so much, and how that shapes you into an adult, and how you still are affected by those things even though you don't remember them or don't want to focus on them, or forgot aspects of them. And I guess once again it's based on a Stephen King idea, but it's also just an interesting film about interesting characters that are complex in the smallest of ways. As I've gotten older, films like these have started to have a different impact on me than they have in the past. Just the way it looks at the universe and the world, and there's a whole thing of whole Sagan aspect to the movie as well. I hope that doesn't give too much away, but I really love what they do with that sort of aspect. And it sort of questions your idea of what is the point of life? Where do we fit into this huge universe that we're a part of? And is our life important? Or is it just, we put importance onto it? This film really looks at that. It really asks those questions, and that had the impact on me. I felt very emotional and drawn into the story, and I really felt for the Charles/Chuck character. I really thought he was quite an extraordinary character to go through what he did and where he ends up. And it's just some, like I said, some really great sequences in the film that really had a huge effect on me. It's a type of film I hope more people see. It's very powerful and interesting. And it is a film that really sort of asks many questions and presents us with some ideas of those, the questions and answers in certain ways. It's a film you do have to really focus on, and there is a lot to draw from it, and it's a film you really have to let sit with you for a while before you can really form an opinion of what you thought of it. I loved it from the beginning, so I didn't have to sit with it too long in order to do this particular video. It is just definitely my type of film, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It is worth your time. This has been an interesting year with films and trying to formulate a top 10 of movies, because there's been so many great films, to the point that a friend of mine has decided to make his top 20 rather than his top 10, because there's so many. I want to stick to the top 10. And at this stage, there's some great, I've got a top 10, and there's all the films on there I really love. But at this stage, for me, Life of Chuck is #1 film of the year. I just loved it so much. I connected with it. It had an impact on me in a positive way, and I really love the story it was telling. And it made me think and feel and remember what it was that shaped me into who I am from childhood, and how that has impacted me and the people around me. It's a film that really washed over me, and I loved every aspect of it, and I just felt drawn and captivated by it, and I highly recommend it. In the end, I'd give Life of Chuck 5 out of 5. Brilliant film, loved it so much from start to end. I was just captivated, intrigued by it. I love the simplicity of the story. I love the profoundness and the power that the film had. And I really loved the story it was telling, the characters, and just the overall experience that I had with the movie. I really loved this so much. So like I said, go out and check this out if you can. Anyway, that's it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe down the bottom, follow me on Letterboxd and Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.